Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the Maverick channel, and what we do on this channel, we talk about cryptocurrencies, digital currencies. We look at things that help us see trends. So what I'm going to talk about in this channel, JPMorgan, yes, the same guys that said that they're going to fire all the employees that are participating in any way, shape or form, anything to do with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They opened up a Metaverse shop called the Onyx shop within a place, set up a shop within this tiny district within the cryptocurrency platform called, or the Metaverse or virtual world platform called Decentralized, that's built on top of the Ethereum network. We're going to look at a summary of the report that JPMorgan wrote about this and they were explaining why they're engaging in this and their perspective of the metaverse and the future of it. So guys, if you're interested in this kind of video, this kind of content, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's see what changed their minds and what nuggets they have in this report. Before I continue on their report, let's walk around here, see what is going on, and I make a brief introduction of what this is. So if you walk through here, this is the JPMorgan shop. So they have a sort of a summary here summarizing our blockchain innovations and all that. They're talking about their technology. Some of this stuff you can find directly on the website. You're met with something that looks like a CryptoPunk within Decentraland itself, and there you go, Onyx by JPMorgan. There's a tiger here walking around this place, which I think is a pretty neat touch. Then you can see, check out our upstairs for additional content. Christine May, global head of Link Crypto Metaverse, Onyx by JPMorgan. So there's upstairs, you can go upstairs, there's a globe there, a screen showing the globe of the earth, pretty much the earth, and you can come here, there's a lounge, you can sit here. It's basically on a one parcel piece of land. So guys, quickly let us look at what Metajuku is before we get into this report. So there's a company or a metaverse realm or whatever. They set themselves up like this, and this is part of what JPMorgan is talking about, such companies that are pooling talent that can develop in the metaverse ecosystem. So Metajuku, a shopping district within Decentraland developed by Republic Realm, inspired by Harajuku, a district in Tokyo known as the center of Japanese street fashion, bringing fashion to the metaverse. The building Metajuku is a 16,000 square foot, 256 meter square project built with a pedestrian friendly open space at its center. Retail stores line both sides of the open center atrium. The district is located at the coordinates 9421 in Decentraland. The development was designed by Austin-based architect Martin Guerra and developed by Republic Realm's global team of 3D real estate and game developers. The Tribute brand store was designed by Zagreb-based architecture firm Biro. So guys, on top of articles circulating the interwebs about JPMorgan and opening a store essentially in a virtual world space, they on top of that released an article, basically a documentation, a write-up explaining their reasons about the metaverse, what they feel about the metaverse. In today's video, that's what I'm going to summarize. This is the report over here. I'm going to put it in the link of the description in case you want to have a deeper understanding of what they've written over here. You can read it by yourself, but today what I'm going to do is give a brief summary of what they're talking about and what their perceptions are of the metaverse. So straight off the bat, the first thing you notice at the top of this report, basically the way it's titled, the opportunities in the metaverse, how businesses can explore the metaverse and navigate the hype versus the reality. And inside the report, they go ahead to further explain this. They talk about the elements of a new digital age and how they're converging at scale. The metaverse is the driving force, bringing these elements together in a unified immersive experience. Guys, they break down a couple of summaries for us, and this kind of shows their mindset and their thought process of what they're thinking about. And let's quickly see here, the metaverse offers opportunities to transact $54 billion every year, and they're talking about this happening, money spent, amount of money buying music in the music industry, entertainment, essentially socializing. Over 60 billion, approximately 60 billion messages are sent daily on a platform such as Roblox. Those that know Roblox, kids like playing this sort of virtual world platform. It's called Roblox. Kids can build houses, buy cars, drive around and stuff like this, and even other people that are interested in that, not just necessarily kids. We have $80 million GDP for Second Life. Second Life is one of these other centralized metaverse experiences out there. We have over $80 million economy in there. Second Life was about 650 million in 2021 with nearly 80 million USD paid creators. We also have 41 billion in non-fungible tokens. So this is sort of alluding to the evolution of this space as well. So with Web 3.0 that has emerged, we have non-fungible tokens currently have a market cap of about $41 billion. That's a lot. And experience 200 strategic partnerships to date with the Sandbox, including Warner Music. So they're talking about one of the other platforms called the Sandbox there. Now, allow me to kind of read this, that they wrote about this. This kind of summarizes their thought process. We're not here to suggest the metaverse as well as we know it today. We're not here to suggest the metaverse as we know it today will take over all human interactions, but rather to explore the many exciting opportunities it represents for consumers and brands alike. Whether it's large tech players such as Microsoft planning to create realistic workspaces or Ariana Grande holding a concert in Fortnite, the opportunities presented by interactive digital worlds seem limitless. The metaverse will likely infiltrate every sector in some way, shape, or form in the coming years, with the market opportunity estimated at over $1 trillion yearly revenues. As a result, we see companies of all shapes and sizes entering the metaverse in different ways, including household names such as Walmart, Nike, Gap, Verizon, Hulu, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Adidas, Atari, and others. Business leaders and boardrooms around the world are now asking themselves, what metaverse is, what is my metaverse strategy, what am I supposed to be doing in the metaverse, and what is the metaverse anyway? So you can see companies are trying to figure out this new emerging ecosystem, which is, or economy, or whatever it is, whatever is going to be a technological advancement, this thing called the metaverse, which is an amalgamation of basically the human innovation, the internet, the evolution of the internet, and the formation of the Web 3.0. And further, they also write a write-up, a diagram, a table that's kind of giving the main differences between the Web 2 ecosystem and the Web 3 ecosystem. And we can see some of the comparisons between some of the dominating platforms. Under Web 2, we have things like Second Life, Roblox, Fortnite, the World of Warcraft. Web 3 have the main platforms such as Decentralized, Sandbox, Somnium Space, Crypto Voxels. They talk about other comparisons like central ownerships within the Web 2 ecosystem. And Web 3, we have decentralization, we have community governance, we have things called decentralized autonomous organizations, native tokens within these economies, and decisions are based on user consensus. So this is proof of stake mechanisms and proof of work mechanisms. They talk about decentralization, PC and consoles, virtual reality augmented, so glasses, playing on your Xbox, your PS4, your mobile applications. Whereas on the Web 3.0, we have also the PCs, we have not yet on the consoles, we have virtual reality augmentation, hardware, and mobile apps. So you can see that both sides of the spectrum can leverage similar technologies. The other is traditional payments. In Web 3, we have crypto wallets, leased within platform, and the other ones we have true ownership in the Web 3, locked within the platform. You can easily have transferability of assets within the platform. Game studios can participate, whereas in Web 3 we have communities and game studios alike. Socialization, multiplayer games, game streaming, competitiveness. In Web 3 we have play to earn experiences, activities that can be engineered by the users themselves. In-platform avatars in Web 2 and Web 3 have self-sovereign or interoperability identity and anonymous private key-based identities, which means essentially users have control of their data and they have more flexibility navigating these platforms. In-platform virtual currency, e.g. the Roblox and Roblox currencies within those ecosystems. And in Web 3 we have mainly cryptocurrencies and tokens, NFTs as well. Platforms or App Store earns 30% of every in-game purchase, 70% goes to developer, example model. So basically there they're talking about the centralization within the other Web 2 platforms, while in Web 3 we have peer-to-peer, so direct person-to-person communication and exchange of data. We have directly earning revenues from sales, and users, gamers, can earn through play-to-earn participation in platform governance and royalties in secondary. So they're talking about that kind of summarization between Web 2 and Web 3 technologies. They also went ahead to talk about the surge in market capitalization of tokens in major metaverse platforms such as Facebook's rebranding of Meta. So when Facebook said that, we saw Somnium Space blow up in terms of adoption, Sandbox having the biggest new adoption. Then we have Decentraland. We have dramatically increased volume of participation in these ecosystems. One of the great possibilities of the metaverse is that it will massively expand the access to marketplace for consumers from emerging frontier economies. So this was posted by JPMorgan team, including co-author Christine May in the Center, Explore Metajuku in Decentraland. So this was the basically the JPMorgan team, and here the summary of their MO, their thought process. One of the great possibilities is how much the digital economy can extend the types of possibilities out there. When you look at the traditional sector, we have limitations of physical infrastructure, of physics, your geographical location, your passport. But with the metaverse and with cryptocurrencies, with these new economies, essentially there's no geographical limitation. Your limitation is whether you have access to the internet or not. So they also, of course, talk about work in the metaverse, and this they go ahead to summarize some of the major partnerships that we've seen in the past, such as the Artifact Studio, which is known as the RTFKT Studios, and their partnerships with their partnership with Nike. They've also their previous sales where you could purchase particular NFTs and get airdropped actual shoes. So here they're talking about the dynamics of how we can see the NFT sector being leveraged within the metaverse. And what this speaks to me as an individual is that we're already seeing the physical and the virtual economy really intertwined with each other, where we're seeing NFTs being exchanged for digital goods. I saw today a tweet of there's a company forming out there where they listed, or they showed that their shoes that they had deployed to particular people that bought them, or maybe they had whitelisted on particular addresses, they were being dropped, these shoes that could now be worn in the decentralized metaverse or virtual world. But essentially, if you decided to not claim these shoes and decided to burn them so you reduce their circulating supply, you would then be sent the actual physical copy of these shoes. So we're seeing these different dynamic economic tendencies develop within this ecosystem. And this was a really good report of their summarization. They also talked about things like the technology as well. So improved performance in the avatars, the movement, the reactions. So more dynamic, more control for the users, reduction in the environment sharding. So being able to easily communicate between other players without necessarily getting lost within different realms, because that's used to try and scale these worlds. So more capacity for complexity in designs, a reduction in local hardware requirements, expanded accessibility across devices, so that includes mobile phones as well, development of interoperability, that's very important, being able to work between different metaverses, different worlds essentially, and also the currencies and NFTs, the crypto tokens themselves, being able to interchange them. Then definition of the standards for digital assets. We need a type of standardization when it comes to defining wearables, objects, brands, and the virtual cryptocurrencies as well. So a clear definition, a distinction between these different goods and services will be very good. So you can see they actually summarize this by saying, so they can be transferable across various virtual worlds with potentially different manifestations in each world, e.g. the same NFT manifests as a special edition t-shirt. Imagine having a bored ape, and when you transfer it in another world, it manifests as itself as a mutant ape, for example. And then expanded data analytics are needed. One of the companies that I talk about here a lot, they're mainly dealing in artificial intelligence and data analytics with these things they call digital twins. And I think this could perfectly fit within the idea of the metaverse. They also go ahead to obviously talk about the concept of the DAO, which is the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Guys, I'll just read this in their own words because I think some of these are really good write-ups of their view of the future. So in time, the virtual real estate market could start seeing services much like in the physical world, including credit, mortgages, and rental agreements. However, with the emergence of decentralized finance, collateralized lending primitives, and the composability of blockchain token-based digital assets, a next-generation financing company could potentially leverage digital clothing as collateral to underwrite virtual land and property mortgages. So in fact, the financing company may not be a company at all, but instead a self-organizing, mission-based community of people who may not have met at all in person, also known as a decentralized autonomous organization. The DAO may have seeded its original balance sheet into a multi-signature wallet to create the mortgages, so multiple people can sign on it. The additional layer of tokenomics to incentivize certain participants or community behaviors creates another level of gamification and commercialization. So that was a pretty good summarization of the definition of the word DAO. And then commercial structure, guys, I'm on to the commercial infrastructure that's needed, understanding Web 3.0, understanding Web 2.0, the advancement when you see with the new types of internet standards, the transfer of signals. A lot of people are scared of the internet infrastructure that we have that's developing. Some people say it's affecting our way of life. I don't want to mention the names in case YouTube wants to could flag this because of that. I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. Basically, upgrading our bandwidth or the amount of data that can be pushed over to the internet. So all this infrastructure needs to improve, as well as the evolution of the cryptocurrencies themselves in digital assets, backed financing, and mortgages. So they're talking about basically being able to leverage collateralization, whether under collateralization or over collateralization. And in the report, they also go ahead to talk about privacy and identity. And I guess in a way, they already talked about it when it comes to sovereign identity and ownership of your goods. But they also talk about know your customer, anti-money laundering as well, verifiable credentials, so easily to verify ownership of what, who owns what, prevention against cyberbullying and online, and expansion of NFT token gated spaces to include the creation of private interaction, discussion, and messaging. So basically you have an NFT that I guess gives you access to an exclusive club or an exclusive space. that increases the idea of privacy. We also have, they mentioned a couple of brands that like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. You saw the Artifact Studio. They also mentioned this NFT ecosystem. I'd watched them before, but I was surprised they actually featured here. So if you're hearing it here for the first time, that's good. It's called Yacht, and basically they sell emojis. So it could be a thumbs up, a smile, a thumbs down, and they sell that in a group. So some of them are trading for a tremendous amount of Ethereum, but there's some that are really trading for really low amount, like up to $35 right now. So it could be an opportunity, but not investment advice. But we're reaching the conclusion of this article. This was regulation and taxation. We've seen the UK the other day kind of confiscate some NFTs, looking at the potential evasion of taxation. So standards and regulation around these spaces have to be developed. So paved paths for regulation, taxation, account treatment for Web3, digital real estate, property, and virtual worlds, adept navigation of regulatory, tax, and accounting treatment for primarily Web2, solutions and services to support virtual worlds that are globally accessible but may be required to adhere to local jurisdictions, requirements, and rules in commercial payments, evolution of community governance, e.g. who sets rules in virtual worlds and who governs. We need to adhere to a clear landscape. Then they talk about an evolution of the metaverse, at least how they understand it. We can see June 23rd, 2003, Second Life is released. 2007, RuneScape reaches 1 million members. December 2018, PlayStation Home is released on PlayStation 3. 2010, World of Warcraft reaches 12 million users. 2013, Riot sellout League of Legends finals at Staples Center. 2014, Amazon acquires Twitch for $970 million. 2014, Microsoft acquires Minecraft for $2.5 billion. 2018, Fortnite nets Epic Games $3 billion in profit for the year. 2020, Decentralized is released. 2021, Roblox tops $39 billion in market cap in its initial purchase offering. IPO. So in 2021, Facebook changes company name to Meta. In 2021 again, December, Virtualand adjacent to Snoop Dogg's Sandbox estate sells for $450,000 in Ethereum. So January 18th, 2022, Microsoft announces plans to acquire Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. So that speaks to you to the way companies are viewing the gamification of the way we live our lives. And lastly, I think it would be fair enough to kind of read their conclusion in their own words. And they concluded that through their approach to the metaverse and the bottom line. So our approach to the metaverse, the success of building and scaling in the metaverse is dependent on having a robust and flexible financial ecosystem that will allow users to seamlessly connect between physical and virtual worlds. Our approach to payments and financial infrastructure will allow that interoperability to grow. We believe the existing virtual gaming landscape, e.g. virtual world with its own population, GDP, in-game currency, and digital assets has elements that parallel the existing global economy. And this is where our long-standing core competencies in cross-border payments, foreign exchange, financial assets creation, trading, safekeeping, in addition to our at-scale consumer foothold, can play a major role in the metaverse. We're building and scaling new emerging technologies to modernize infrastructure and business models, including but not limited to tokenization and digital identity, as we strive for perpetual innovation and better ways to organize financial transactions and payments in the decentralized web. And in conclusion, the bottom line, the components of the metaverse continue to evolve very quickly. It's difficult to base a business strategy on such a dynamic space characterized by explosive growth and continuous innovation of new entrants. So, however, the cost and risks of engaging early and consistently in order to build internal intellectual property, develop hypotheses about future business models, and identify ecosystem partners and collaborators are relatively low. So the asymmetrical risk of being left behind is worth the incremental investment needed to get started and to explore this new digital landscape for yourself. So what these guys are appealing to, essentially, if you the sooner you learn how to navigate this digital landscape and understand all the dynamics about it, and the less you get bored by it, and the more time you invest in understanding what is going on, these sort of childish looking things, they're going to be the things that essentially rule our world. Our economies are going to be built upon these infrastructures and these foundations. Alright guys, I hope you stayed around till the end. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.